My boy, my boy. Fuck. Fuck, how about Tim turn on the fucking mute? Jesus Christ. Sorry, brother. He said, let's get that chlamydia fucking flames going. Speaking of chlamydia, bro, I've got I've got some Nardwat stories going. Shit. Anyway, brother, how you been?
Well, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's definitely been quite a busy last few months. Sort of even pre-lockdown was pretty hectic, and then over lockdown things started to build up. So just been busy, bro. But it's good to be here, man. You've been supporting me for ages, brother, and I just wanted to come show my appreciation and just catch up with you, bro.
Hard, brother. Oh, yeah. So, oh shit, I'm just checking some shit out, making sure everything's going good. Yeah, bro. But like, it's been really quite it's been a trip, bro. Like for you in terms of your journey and everything like that. So yeah, bro. So much respect for hustling
Appreciate it,
and
bro.
yeah, bro. So I think we might just have a bit of an issue with the stuff. In the chat is it synced up or not? Sorry, brother.
But for me, or
No, for the chat, my bro.
sorry,
But
my
it's all
bad,
good.
man.
Oh, yeah. We just
Sorry,
have a
man.
look. No. That's my bad. That's what happens when guests come on at 6:45, bro, and don't come a little bit earlier. You know what I mean?
Sorry, bro.
Nah.
Okay. Apparently, I'm a tad loud.
No. That's my bad, bro. Slightly off. Other than that, everything's all good. Well, fuck them. Okay, here we go. There we go. Brother. So like, I just want to say something before we start, bro. Like because I was Twitch streaming and I would see you hustling, bro, and like putting yourself out there. And then you had shit talk, which was, bro. I still do. I listen to the episodes all the time. And then like I just saw that and I thought, you know what, bro? Like, fuck, why not? Like, I'll give it a shot. So, bro, thank you for inspiring a dude like me to get out there and get it done.
No way, bro. Oh man, no, that's flattering, bro. I mean, as I was saying before, what you're doing here is fucking amazing. It surpassed what I'm doing with the platform for sure. So, no, that means a lot, brother.
Get out of there, bro. Stop that shit, eh? Oh, stop that shit. We're not here playing.
And jerking.
We're not here. We're not here playing compliment tennis, brother. Okay, this is just a one-way street for me. Nah, bro, it was cool because I was like, because I saw you with Patreon and I thought, oh man, I might check that out because I knew about Patreon, but I was like, I was like, oh fuck, I'll see if I. So it helped big time, bro.
Yeah, it really does. It connects. It connect. But I've got the chat open and I know what you meant. It's fucking all over the show.
Yeah.
But no, Patreon's unreal way because like, how have you found connecting with like all your fans through that, and even just the income? It's crazy that you can make money from just fucking talking rubbish.
Hard, and like probably the coolest thing about it is who's kind of really got your back. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, bro. Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
It's not a monetary thing. Because $2.50 is like, for me, like, bro, if you look at my Patreon, it's exactly the fucking same hookup as yours. $2.50, $5, $7.50. Because I was like, bro, if that's working for the brother, then shit, and it has been. So that's fucking dope.
Yeah. No, I think for me the craziest thing, bro, was just the people that joined my Patreon early were the ones that because like I was saying to you before, I mean, I knew that you'd been to talk with for ages, like what I was doing and stuff, and a lot of the people that joined early in the Patreon were people that had been liking and sort of sharing and commenting fucking way before anyone else knew what the fuck I was up to. So it was just it was a crazy opportunity to just connect with all of them, and just kind of put a face to all these people that had been supporting you for so long. So now it's just crazy. It's a crazy platform, bro, and I can't. I'm thankful, obviously, to the people that support me, just in general. But it's crazy being able to connect directly with the people that just really showed me love. Even more so than a lot of people that have known me my whole fucking life. So it's crazy for that, but I really love it, man.
Yeah, bro. And but the coolest thing also is that like like it's just a very easy medium to get some help.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's it can be tough to sometimes keep up with the because I think when you ask for money and stuff, especially as New Zealanders, as brown people, we kind of have that. There's that added pressure that we know the value of it, and we hold the value of it very high to ourselves. So it's we never want to disappoint anybody on there.
Yeah.
So there is that little bit of pressure, but I think the crazy thing is when you then start talking about, apologizing if you've missed something, or, talking about, I'm sorry if this hasn't been living up to you. These are the supporters that are just like, well, fuck, you could put up nothing and we'd still support.
Yeah, and it's really, it's the fact that the support's there.
But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Nuts, eh, man?
Because
nuts.
like coming from Twitch, bro, like if you're a Twitch streamer, someone will subscribe and that's like $8 American, right? They take half of that shit. Like you only get 4 of that. And then but Patreon's like 90, so I'm like,
yeah,
oh, fuck. Like, let's do it.
They take half. That's fucking heaps.
Fuck, I know. And like
is that what like Ninja and that left because of that shit, or
no, I think they just got the bag. They just were like, yo, we'll just give you fucking X amount of dollars if you come over. But yeah, but if you're a partner, you get, it's a little bit like, it's like 70, but it's still like fucking half of your shit. Like, you're spending half of your time on here trying to get a following, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, just give us half your shit.
Yeah, it's like a cash converters no interest loan, and fucking it gets you 6 months later when the interest kicks in.
Yeah, you're fucking damn right. Anyway, bro, let's get into this shit, brother.
Sweet, brother. Sweet.
International, bro. You're a bit of an international dude, right? So you're you're born in New Zealand, but you went overseas, right?
Yeah, bro. Yep. So moved overseas when I was about 5 or 6 years old, to Malaysia, and then we were living there for about 2-3 years or so, and then moved back when I was about 9, maybe 10ish. So it was about, it came to about 5 years, I think. Yeah, so it was about 5, came back around 10. And yeah, bro, that just Malaysia and India, and then obviously traveling in between that. But that was kind of my initial upbringing in those years, was overseas.
So is that called mum and dad were working over there?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, my dad, both my parents work in IT. So my old man was he obviously got a job over there and then moved us over. He didn't really get a chance to do a whole lot of travel when he was younger. So the first opportunity he got to go overseas with his work, he was like, yeah, fuck yeah, even if it's in fucking Malaysia. None of us knew where the hell that was. Yeah. He was like, sweet, we're off. So that was a crazy experience, but it was such a mean, such a mean upbringing for a kid to sort of experience something like that so young. And as I'm learning now, it stays with you for the rest of your life, eh? So,
bro, India's a trip, eh?
Bro, have you been?
I've been to for basketball trip.
No shit. Where did you go?
What's Bangalore?
Bangalore. Oh, I see. Bangalore, bro. Like, people don't really understand how fucking gnarly India is. They think that because Indian people, obviously live in New Zealand, they have this understanding of what their country is, but no one here has a single fucking clue unless they've been there. That it is probably the gnarliest place on earth. Bro,
I'm gonna tell you this fucking true story, bro. And like, it's a bit of I don't do stand up, G, but every time I tell people this story, they never fucking believe me. And I'm gonna tell you, G, okay? Bro, okay. I was walking down the street to go and get a SIM card, my G. And it was like, I don't know, this is in the middle of Bangalore, and I was like, okay, I gotta go and get a fucking SIM card. So I walk down the street, and there's this dude, bro, and he's kind of like posted up on this bin, like just on a regular rubbish bin, and he's just smoking away, bro, smoking away. And then I was like, oh shit, like, because a lot of people just stand around there.
Yeah, there's a lot of just, it's 24/7 just fucking around.
Fucking A.
Really just doing fuck all.
Fucking A, bro. There's fucking bricks on, this guy's got like 1 foot on some bricks. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, right?
Yeah, bro.
He's having a smoke, bro, and I go to go and get me a SIM card, and the guy's like, yo, I need your passport, I need this, I need your fucking birth certificate, all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck for? I just want a SIM card. So I had to go back to the hotel, and then I go back, and the dude's kind of like staring me out. And he's smoking away, bro. And I was like, fuck, what the fuck's going on? All right. I go get my shit from the hotel. I come back. I swear to fucking God, Joe, This guy is posted up like fucking Spider-Man, G, on top of the rubbish bin, G, having a shit, bro. Right?
Yeah.
And his fucking dick is fucking dangling, G,
Sounds
like a
about
little
right, bro.
worm. And and then I was walking and I saw him. I looked at the cunt, and then I looked away, and then I looked back the second time, and bro, he just fucking locked eyes with me, G, and I was like, what the fuck?
As it 2 girls, 1 cupped out of his fucking butthole.
Bro.
He locked eyes, eh?
It was like one Indian dude and one fucking rubbish bin and my eyes. And his little danger was fucking just dangling. And then I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Bro, I go to get me a SIM card. I come back. Bro, dude's got a cigarette in his mouth, G. Around the same fucking rubbish bin, G. Just smoking. Like, hey, still looking at me. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Bro, and that's fucking India, man.
And people just walk past like nothing's fucking going on.
India's fucking crazy, bro. I tell you, that's 2 eyes, 1 rubbish bin. It's bro. Someone just bro. This chat is fucking hilarious. Bro, the craziest shit. Did you see the Ferris wheels that they have over there? So
yes.
For anybody that doesn't know, in India, the Ferris wheels, it doesn't run on a motor like every other fucking Ferris wheel in the world. How the Ferris wheels in India work is they're the same size as a standard Ferris wheel, big as fuck. But it's the cunts like they like climbing up the shit and like pulling it down, so that it like spins around, and they like climb to the top of these fucking Ferris wheels, bro, and just pulling the shit down so that it turns.
Bro, they just fucking and gnarly, bro.
And bro, like, fuck, I'm pretty sure it's 1 a week. Like one of those guys just falls off that shit and fucking dies.
Yeah, but I mean, there's fucking 2 billion of them. They're like,
there's 2 billion of them. I'm pretty sure it's 500,000 a year just fucking dying on Ferris. Never mind the people sitting in the motherfuckers.
Even in it out, bro. Fucking hell. Yeah.
What I didn't say is also on the Ferris wheel, when you're sitting it, you have to hold it like, nah. But it's just, it's fucking crazy. They're just climbing up and just spinning it around. Just heaps of shit, bro. I used to see my mum get into fights at the markets and stuff. Like people just come up and try to mug you. There's little kids, bro, like with no arms, like 1 eye, just their whole body's fucked, and they're just coming up to you, and it's almost you'd be forgiven thinking some of the parts of that place are hell, bro. It's fucking crazy. Bro. It's insane.
So because I was the only male on staff, bro, I was like the bodyguard pretty much, because these are all female basketball players.
Oh, no shit.
Bro, we go through the market, G. I was fucking kung fu kicking everybody's fucking hands, trying to fill the girls up, G. I was woof, and I'll just stare them out like, what the fuck you think you're doing? And they're like, oh shit, like.
Oh, honestly, man, and like, I think that's why when I remember when I was sort of started going to town and stuff, and there was a lot of, I mean, people still do. They give Indian dudes a lot of shit for being creepy and all that shit, which they fucking are. But what people fail to understand is like the world that they come from. It's not like the world that we know it. It's that people aren't considered humans in India, like even just amongst each other, let alone that don't even, that's not even taken into account the caste system, class. Bro, it's a fucking other world, man. And that's why a lot of those guys come here, and they actually do a really good job assimilating to Western culture. But there's still a lot of things. I mean, they assimilate to Western culture pretty fucking well for how gnarly their world is. Of course, like the one part they slip up is the part that involves getting your dick wet and shit. Like fucking, bro, I've been in Western culture my whole life. Even sometimes I lose my fucking mind. So, it is what it is. I'm not on like any other comedian's level. Like, I'm not out here like doing Crystalia shit, but I still get horny sometimes and make stupid decisions, like hit up my ex or my cousin when I'm at the marae. So fuck, who knows?
Fuck. Gee, old hotel mattress room in the back. Take your pick, or the brothel in the mattress room. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, we call it the holiday in the marae. It's my favorite hotel.
Oh shit, bro. So like, and then you came back, bro, and did you get straight? Was that did you go straight into Scots when you came back, or did you have some time at public school?
No, so we moved back to Auckland, bro, and I did year six in Auckland. and then did intermediate. Did about a term and a half in Auckland at Ponsonby Intermediate, and then we moved back to Wellies, and then I went to Wanu Intermediate, which is in Lower Hutt in Wellington, for anybody that doesn't know. And then from there, kind of went to Scots. So I moved around heaps right before I got to high school. Scots was the only high school I went to, but I went to about it'd be pretty close to 12 different schools before I started high school. So it was a lot of moving around, bro. A lot of fucking having to get to know people in new areas. And yeah, that was kind of my life before I got to Scots and got to settle down. But yeah, welly deep through and through for sure. And yeah, born in the Hut.
Yo.
But yeah, call myself from Wanu after all of that.
Yeah. So like boarding at like a pretty prestigious school, bro. Bro, was that a bit of a culture shock coming from India and all that shit? And Ponsonby, yeah, I get, but then going straight into Scots where it's quite a prestigious school.
Yeah, bro. I think like it's funny, the stuff I found hard about Scots is I mean that was a whole. In India, I was quite lucky because I mean anybody that's lived overseas, you'll understand expat culture. So it's just a bunch of like rich fucking kids. Like we weren't rich. We were lucky that my dad's work kind of set us up in a really nice, in a really nice house. That's because houses there, bro, fucking $3.50. They cost less than a bag of confectionery snakes, like a fucking mansion there. So we were in a really nice spot. But we were growing up around expats, so around people. I was always used to growing up with people with a lot of money. My parents weren't necessarily rich, but obviously they did pretty well for themselves. But was used to growing up around people with money, and so when I moved to Scots, that wasn't too distant from what I knew. But I think because it was, it was obviously New Zealand, there were definitely a lot of differences that were a little bit far from my understanding, and then there were a few other things that I found quite hard as well. Just kind of assimilating to Scots. Once I left school, I started telling people that I probably didn't settle into Scots, bro, until I was year 12. Genuinely, it took me that long to really actually settle in and get used to it there. But by the time I did, I enjoyed it. But it was definitely a journey, and I would say I hated most of it. But my last couple of years were pretty good. So yeah.
So, bro, like speaking of like that assimilation, did it help that you had someone that you boarded with someone that shit the bed, G?
Where the fuck do you know that story?
Bro, like, let's be honest.
How the fuck do you know that story?
Brother, fuck, you're Joey DG. We gotta know this shit.
Holy shit. So
did that help you, G, at all or nah?
Oh my God. But I knew, fuck, I can't remember who it, I don't know if it was Slings or someone told me you're the Nardwuar of New Zealand, bro, and fuck. I don't know how you knew that, bro. Fuck.
Well, fuck,
that's
mate.
Impressive, man. That's genuinely impressive. Now, when I was year 9, I had to. So how boarding in Scots worked was, you pretty much have a bunkmate per term, so it changes each term. And for one whole term, bro, I had a breather that fucking just loved shitting his undies. No toilet paper, nothing. He thought he was in COVID-19 lockdown about 10 years before that shit came anywhere near, So just absolutely shitting his pants, no toilet paper, and just would leave it there, bro. And for a whole term, I had to come back from, whatever the fuck I was up to, hanging out at Courtney Place movies or some shit, or I don't know, sucking on chicks' titties. But I had to come back from doing that shit, bro. And my roommate had just absolutely run amok on his bed.
Fuck.
True, that's a 100% a true story. And I had to put up with that shit for a whole fucking term.
Look at you, bro.
I almost wanted to give him a hiding, bro, but I didn't want it to turn into diarrhea. It was just solid as far as I know. But
bro, you gotta be some fucking brave cunt, eh? To just let it happen, you know what I mean?
Oh man. Well, I think like back then, I was a big time pussy. So I just fucking let him have it. And like the yarns around school was everybody was obviously saying that Joey D's shitting his bed because he was proper school shooter vibes. Like honestly, we were all scared he was going to pull up and fucking call himself Lil Uzi Vert with two in each hand and just fucking go hard on the whole school. Like he was that kind of vibe, which is why no one actually fucked with him, that he shat the bed. So obviously, guess who's getting the stick? The cuzzy that fucking grew up in India. He shat himself.
Yeah, of course.
And so yeah, bro, that was the whole yarn. So it actually went around school that I was shitting myself. Because everyone was scared that fucking this dude was gonna rock up with a, AK-47 and go machine gun Kelly.
Yeah, well, fuck, bro. If you're okay with shitting your pants and not doing shit about it,
Oh, you don't give a fuck, eh?
Bro, you're gonna be all right with just fucking that kind of shit, you know?
Brotherhood, you do not. Yeah, if you're wanting to shit your pants and leave it in there, sleep, and your roommate's also in there, you do. If you don't give a fuck about your own life that much, you sure as fuck don't give a fuck about mine.
But did he lock eyes with you, Joe? That's the question I want to know.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure there was one time he squatted on our rubbish bin and just fucking. I was like, where did you get that cigarette from? We're 13, but no, it was what it was. But the funniest thing was, I mentioned Courtney Place movies. For anybody that remembers Courtney Place back in the day at Reading Cinemas, there was that Warhammer fucking place. But he used to always hang out there. So
of course,
he used to do Warhammer shit. But yeah, rest in peace, Readings. That shit is fucking long gone. But yeah, he smelled like shit, man, and that was hell for a whole term.
So, bro, how many Weet-Bix you reckon? How many Weet-Bix did Steven Adams have in the mornings, G?
Fuck, that's quite impressive that you also know that cunt used to eat fucking that many. Bro, honestly, that cunt used to eat anything. Because Stevie didn't board, but because he was staying at school so late, studying after school, and because he was coming straight from trainings with Kenny Mac in the mornings, that's why he would eat dinner with us in the boarding house and have breakfast with us in the mornings. And bro, legit, fuck, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 12.
Fuck.
Seriously, like they can't used to eat that much. But what people don't know about Steve is that dude is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen in my life. And I think it was insane back then, but I look back at it now and I'm like, how did a 16, I first met Steve when he was 15, turning 16. How does a 15, 16-year-old have that much drive? And bro, at that age, he wasn't even that mean at basketball. Like, he wasn't even that mean. So to have that much drive purely just because you're trying to, build discipline within yourself, like the NBA wasn't anything anyone was talking about for him at that point, but he was going that ham at that age, that early. So, bro, that's one thing I always try to bring up if anyone ever asks me about Steve, is like, that dude fucking worked for every single thing he's got. It
kind of fucks you off when people go, like I see in like basketball fucking forums and shit when they go, fuck, he's just big, that's all. Like, bro, he's skilled as fuck too, yo.
Man, and it's crazy. I think, I don't even just want to say Scots boys. I think everybody that grew up in Wellies around that time, they know how much work that dude put in, because it was there for everybody to see. Because people didn't really even start talking about how good he was potentially going to be until it became news that Pitt had offered him a scholarship.
Yeah.
Because before then, bro, we just thought he was going to be like, not saying like Tall Blacks is just like a whatever thing, but before then we just thought like, oh man, he's going to like play for the Tall Blacks sometime and, probably play for like the Breakers or some shit. Like, we thought that's what he was going to do.
Yeah.
But then the NBA stuff didn't start coming in until, because I'm pretty sure Jamie Dixon came to our school.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, so it was when Jamie Dixon came to our school and all the word started going around that Steve got this like scholarship to college, which was unheard of at that time. We were all like, fuck, is this dude like unreal? And then that was when it blew up, bro. And he was probably middle of year 12, maybe coming near the end of year 12. That was when all that started to happen. And then it wasn't until then that we all realized how mean he actually was.
I was at a camp, bro, for Basketball New Zealand, and this dude Doug Courtney, he's a coach. He goes, I was just there helping out. I wasn't a coaching staff. Right? I wasn't like selecting a team. But yeah. And then Doug goes, I've got this dude. It was in Hamilton, and Doug goes, I got this dude in Rotorua, and I'll bring him through, and we'll see how he goes. And he brought him through, and he fucking killed everyone. G.
True.
Yeah.
What year was that, bro?
Bro, this was under 15s, bro. So he would have been like maybe 14.
True. So like 2010, maybe 11. 2009, maybe. Yeah.
Bro, and then they didn't choose him because he didn't. Well, the first thing, Doug just bought him. He didn't you have to pay for those camps, and Doug was just like, "Yo, just come and play." And then Doug got in trouble, and then, bro, legit, it was the funniest shit, bro, because. Then Kenny Mack said, yo, I'll fucking pay for him. Here you go. Fucking here's the money. And then,
No shit.
bro, Kenny Mac, and then he did the rest of the buzz. He did
Yeah.
the rest of 3 days, and I was like, fuck, that's pretty shit. You make the bro play. He's fucking killing everybody. And
Straight
when
up.
I say everybody, I mean fucking everybody. I mean Isaac Fotu. I mean all of these cats.
No
the same
shit.
medicine.
Fuck all those boys.
Fucking Ty Webster. All those dudes.
Like everyone from the shore.
Bro, all those dudes from the shore.
Yeah,
and
true.
then end of the camp happened because Kenny Mac was like, bro, this guy is good enough. I'll pay for it. And then they didn't select him.
No shit.
And then I go, why? And I go, bro, that dude was killing everybody. And this is why Kenny Mac doesn't give a fuck about them. But anyway, the reason is because he just couldn't. They reckon they didn't even give him a shot, bro, because they reckon he couldn't fucking pay for the trip because they were going to China. And I was
fuck, that's crazy.
And that's why he's not going to play for. Well, that's what I understand why he's not going to.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that where all that started? Bro? And I don't fucking blame him. Like if they're not going to back you when you're nothing, like fucking, it's easy to hop on the ship when everyone's on there. Like, don't then. That's pretty cheeky from them that they tackle the national pride side of things and try make it out like he's a bad guy for not wanting it to do. Then that's pretty cheeky.
I know. So that's Well, I mean, hey, I'm the fucking Nardwaji, you know.
But you really are. But nah, bro, I got so much love for that dude. I've only seen him probably 2 or 3 times since he made the NBA. I'm not gonna make it out like we're best mates or anything, but I mean, he was in the boarding house, and I was lucky to see his rise to at least till before he left to college. And he was just always like exactly what you guys see. Fuck, he was always like that. He was always just fucking around. Bro, I'll tell you the story. So our headmaster at Scott's is a fucking crazy cunt, and he used to scare the shit out of everyone. And Stephen, bro, so the headmaster's like walking along, like we're just walking along the hallway, and then Steve just does the thing where you like just snap out in front of someone's nuts, and just makes the dude go, huh, like that. And Steve goes, I got you, cunt. Straight up, bro. And like he just had everybody in the palm of his hand, bro. And this was before, the news fucking people were at our school every second day. This was before Jamie Dixon had come to Scots, bro. He was exactly like that, like before all of that. So, no, that dude's the fucking man.
Like I coach his niece too, man. She's dope too.
True. Is that the one that went to Max?
Yeah, bro, that's the one.
My brother's at Max, so I think I watched the game that she might have played last year or something. So no, I know the one.
Anyway, brother, fuck, bro, we could talk about this shit all day. Shit.
Yeah.
When's the first time you figured out that you were funny, bro?
Probably, bro. I think where it started initially was my old man's like a real shy dude, and quite like he's a lovely dude, like the nicest guy, completely harmless. But he's like a very shy, very kind of anxious dude. So when we'd go to the marae for tangis or just sort of get-togethers, he wasn't going to be the one to get up to speak. And so from kind of a young age, like early sort of teens, I was the one getting up and talking in front of everybody. So I've always been, especially when you're growing up in an environment where you're by yourself quite a lot. Obviously, overseas expat life is exactly that. You're used to just finding out like what you enjoy doing and keeping to yourself. So I knew what I enjoyed and what I found funny, and then where I built the confidence to sort of get that out. Sorry, Russ. No, just got off tour, so my voice is all fucked up. But yeah, so I always sort of found I found my own voice like with myself, just obviously growing up overseas and being by myself quite a lot. But where I got the confidence to put it out there was just speaking, at tangis and family get-togethers and just being on the marae, bro, and just talking shit in front of everybody, just kind of on behalf of my family. And that was where it started to build up, at least in a young me. And then obviously that just continued to build up until eventually I gave it a go seriously. So that was where it started, bro.
So in terms of giving it a go seriously, bro, what was that like for you, bro? Or like, what was the journey? What was the story around you getting fucking straight into it?
Yeah. So at the time I was working in property development, bro. And my whole thing into property development was purely because of money, and how it came around was I used to always, so my big thing is walking. Like I've always just walked around because that's what me and my old lady used to do while my dad was at work when we were overseas. We'd just walk around places for hours, like all day, bro. We'd leave.
Right.
My old man would leave to work at 7 in the morning when we were living in Malaysia and get back like 7 at night. And me and my old lady would walk around from 7 till 7 till my dad got back. So walking's always been like a big part of my life, even in that sense. And I've just always just kept it up from there, just because I enjoy it. It's always a good way for me to clear my head. So when I was in high school, I used to go on a lot of just random walks around. Scott's is surrounded by a lot of very well-off areas, so like C2 and Miramar in particular. And so I used to walk around there, and I walked up to this one dude who was outside this real flash house, and I just straight up asked him, I was like, yo, bro, like, what do you do for work? Your house is like mean as. And he told me he was a property developer. And so I was like, fuck, true. And then just started researching that, and then that kind of stayed in my head. And then when I wasn't too sure what I was doing at school, I left school, did finance and accounting, and then transferred that into a property development degree, and then just started working towards that and then working in the industry. And then I fucking hated it, bro. Hated the industry, hated every cunt I ever came across in the industry. Yeah. And then I was at a bit of a crossroads. This was like July 2017. Was at a bit of a June 2017. This was like I was at a bit of a crossroads. Hated my career and every prospect in it. Like the money was obviously it's good if you become successful in it, but I just knew even if I was to be the richest cunt in this fucking thing, I'd hate my fucking life because of the people I have to deal with. So yeah, bro. Just decided I was going to pack it in, but I made a little list of things that I would rather go into, and stand-up comedy was one of them. And yeah, bro, just based on that, there was a bunch of things that I sort of made roads to starting, but stand-up comedy was the first one and actually the easiest to get started on. So I just hit up an open mic and yeah, bro, just started from there.
And that was it. Fuck, and then that's all. Like, what open mic did you go to the Classic, or did you do another one?
Yeah, bro. So just the Monday night Raw at the Classic. Yeah, just did. I've told this about on like other podcasts, but yeah, no one here would have seen any of those. My initial time was, supposed to be a certain week, and I actually just pretended I was sick because I was. Sorry, bro. I actually just pretended I was sick because I was too nervous, and the guy Scotty who owns the club was like, you know what, all good. I hope you're feeling better. I'll just chuck you on the next week. I was hoping he'd say, oh, get fucked, like don't come, but he chucked me on the next week. Then I turned up to that one, bro, and yeah, it was, from the start, it was. I knew it was that was the one for me. So. Just kind of from day one went all in, bro, and haven't looked back.
So in terms of like, because I know that you like now you don't really write shit anymore, right? It's just straight off the top.
Yeah. I am trying to move into, especially since I've got after sort of this tour, and I've been lucky to be in talks with a lot of big promoters for lack of a better word, to work around a big show for next year. So I am back into traditionally writing for that upcoming show, which will be out next year. But yeah, in regards to up until this point, bro, I wasn't writing shit out.
Yeah, because the crowd work tour was just you sitting in front of people, just pretty much roasting people.
Yeah, bro, just talking to people for about an hour and a half each show, just hopping up, talking shit. It's and that was kind of just what that whole tour was for an opportunity to kind of connect with the audience. I think there were two reasons why I did the crowd work tour as the first one. My first sort of foray out was one, because in regards to content, you can't really put your bits and stuff online, because once you put them out there, you can't use them again. Yeah. If an audience sees your stuff online and see you do it live, they'll love it, but they'll kind of struggle to come back again, because they'll be like, oh, is he just going to do shit I've already seen? Yeah. So the crowd work tour, the whole reason was to get as much content as possible, but still be able to use those because it's nothing that I it's nothing that I would try use again because it was just all off the cuff.
Yeah.
And then the second one was just a chance, to connect with my audience both before, during, and after the show. So it was awesome, obviously, doing it during the show and just being able to sort of have a laugh and fuck around with everybody. And then all the shows was awesome. Like I stuck around after every show and just caught up with everybody that came through. And it was an awesome, awesome opportunity, bro, just to see everyone who's been supporting me and, coming out to show love. And it was an amazing experience, man. It was definitely, it was life-changing for sure. And I think I was super proud of kind of the audience I built, because it was just so many people that just really came out of their way. Like there were people that came to Wellies that had driven from Hastings, people that came to Hamilton that had driven from Whangarei, Roaders. And I think, for people in those areas, that may not seem like far a drive, but for me, like I'm barely driving to town for fucking, to go like meat cunts for an hour. Like I for someone to drive all that way just to come see me, it was really, really eye-opening for me. And it was, it was crazy.
Bro, speaking of fucking like eye-opening shit, bro, like it wasn't that long ago, bro, where you would post fucking shit on your Instagram and you were talking to like maybe 3 people, and then bro, not even like maybe not even 6 months.
Probably 6 months ago, if that. Probably 6 months ago, yeah.
Fuck, that must be quite not intimidating. Oh, I suppose it is intimidating, but just like, holy fuck, how the fuck did this happen? Have I found the secret source? Crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
It's fucking real crazy.
Yeah, bro. And you being someone that's been on since early days, bro, like it's funny always talking to people like yourself, because you saw the change, because it went from fuck, is this guy ever gonna like figure this shit out, to holy fuck, like it came out of nowhere. Yeah.
Bro, what was the one thing that, like, if you had to, I don't know, it's not one thing. It can't be fucking one thing.
No, I know what you mean, bro.
You know what I mean? But what was that one thing where you went, okay, I'll just put this out, and then all of a sudden it was like, fuck, like, okay, because you had, was it? I don't know. Well, what do you reckon it was?
Yeah, so I mean, there's like, everyone knows it's always like a slow build up in different areas, but I would say the one thing for sure, bro, that I saw that changed it was my first Auntie Cinder like FaceTime video.
Yeah.
And I think what that showed everybody was like my broad range, how my humor can translate on sort of a broad range, and how it can translate and how it can translate on sort of different demographics, different markets, I guess. Because, bro, when it was getting shared, like I saw MPs sharing it, I saw fucking old white ladies sharing it, obviously all the young brown community have been supporting me since early days. Just all people from all walks of life, bro, sharing it. And I think that was people's first glimpse that my humor can translate on a lot of different levels that, maybe a lot of others in my, in the stand-up community haven't really been able to achieve just yet. And there's a lot of things before that, like, bro, that Cuzzy Tricks, for anybody that doesn't know, he was the first guy to really put me out there. I consider that a massive as milestone. I still talk about it to this day. I have so much love for my brother, because he was the first person, I would say, honestly, to really put me on. So I would say Tricks. This is Auckland. A lot of those were big moments for me, but I think in recent times where it kind of has taken a life of its own was that final little sort of kick in the nuts was the Auntie Cinder videos, and that kind of sent it into overdrive.
Because, like, here's another thing I wanted to ask you, bro, about This Is Auckland, bro. What was the inspiration about fuck, bro? Because when you first came out and that came out, I was like, where can I find this shit? And then I found the pilot episode. But, like, what was the inspiration behind, like, getting that done?
Yeah, so where it came from was I watched a series called Somewhere in London by the guy that did, everyone knew, what was his name?
Oh, Chris Lilly.
It wasn't. So, obviously Chris Lilly is the big inspiration. But the guy that did the skitty pop pop fucking
Oh,
whatever the fuck that was.
Michael Fefs or some shit like that, right?
Michael, yeah, it was like Michael Dapper.
Dapper. That's it. Where did I
Michael
get Fefs
Dapper,
from?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So he did his character, I can't remember what, like,
a
Shaq?
Big Shack. Yeah,
Big
yeah, yeah.
Shaq? Yeah. So he did that, bro, and he did a series called Somewhere in London, and it was actually three guys. It was Big Shaq, it was this like fucking like car park security guard, and then it was an Uber driver. So um so that was where I got the idea for the format, and then I just wanted to format it in a similar way, but with obviously characters that people would know. So um, the bouncer was a character that I'd always wanted to do, and I'd pitched it in sort of different areas. When I was writing for Jono and Ben, I pitched it then because it was just something that like for me. We all know about the bouncers and we laugh about it so much, but it had never been anything that I'd kind of seen done before, and in any sort of light, let alone a comedian one, so a comedic one. So I went for the Islander bouncer thing, and that obviously became Iwan. All my mates, obviously from university, they were all kind of, white vanilla university dudes with not a lot of personality, and their personality is fucking just drinking culture. That was kind of the Dunners breather inspiration for the second character, which is Damien. And then the third one was just supposed to be like this, like out the gate Westy hoary as dude, who's just an amalgamation of like everything funny about people from like out west with like even a little bit more exaggeration in it. So I just followed the format from Somewhere in London, and then just kind of put in characters that had a lot of things that I had experienced and could relate to in different ways, and that became This Is Auckland, bro. And that was the inspiration behind it.
So was it funded? Like, did you just do that, or was it like, where did the funding come from? Was just you and someone shooting it, or nah?
Bro, so this is another one. So this guy Haimon Onata, so he's a very like well respected, well regarded videographer. And pretty much what happened was I'd written the whole script for This Is Auckland. So I'd written a whole pilot script, but I'd actually written like basically a whole series.
Yeah.
So I've written about 4 episodes with through lines and just heaps and heaps of jokes and shit from like and the other episodes were funny as fuck as well. But obviously I just went around the pilot episode and I just started hitting, because I'd never been in TV before apart from like my experience with Jono and Ben. But I hadn't been too heavy on the production side, so I didn't know like how TV shows got made, really. Yeah. So all I did was I wrote the script and then just started taking it to videographers, and just started pitching it to them. And I was like, I don't really know how the fuck to get this made or anything, but check out my script. If you like it, would you just like shoot it with me? And so we just did it, bro. And Mona like was like, fuck, I love the script so much, bro. It's so funny. I'll just shoot it. And he's a dude, bro, that he makes a lot of very good money, does a lot of very good work. He's really well known in a lot of the videographer circles because of the work that he does. And bro, he just took a shot on me and was like, man, I would love to just shoot this. Let's just go do it. So we did it with no funding. All the locations, bro, were either on the street or the flat that we filmed the Young Sexy stuff in. That garage that we're in, I was actually sleeping in that garage on that couch, on the couch that's in there in the time. So the couch that I'm sitting on, when I say, when I cry, the milfs still get wet. But I was sleeping on that couch at that time. Yeah. So we did it with no funding, bro. He just hopped on. He just hopped on and fully just bought into how funny the idea was. And I think when we were making it and editing it, bro, we knew it was crack up, because no matter how many times we watched it, we were just cracking up. And I think, the day I put out the very first clip, bro, from Iwan, it got like 1.5 thousand likes. And to me, I'd never had any traction on social media before that, outside of kind of doing a few things a few years prior. But as me, myself, putting something out there for everybody to see, that was the first time I put something out, and to me that went viral. It was like 1.5 thousand likes in one night, and that was insane to me. And it was almost unbelievable, and it was the first sort of validation that I had that my comedy could actually translate beyond just the people that I know or the people that see me. So yeah, it was crazy, bro. And that purely came from just this one dude just taking a shot and just being like, "Fuck it, let's just go film it."
Yeah.
So
Bro,
Haimon and Arthur, bro, is
shout
that
out.
dude. Yeah, I owe so much to that guy, and I told him we were struggling to get funding. We weren't making any roads or anything, and I was taking meetings and stuff, but no one was really taking the idea seriously. I showed them like the numbers that it was doing on social media, and just no one, people still didn't understand the concept and just couldn't see why it was funny, and they just thought that it was all fugazi, that it was all fake, because they just couldn't. They didn't know the people that make decisions. They don't know the world like me and you know it.
Yeah.
They're fucking hanging out in Remmers and Herne Bay and shit. So
which brings me to my next question, brother.
Sorry, bro, I fucking carved on there.
No, that's all right, because you're taking over the show, bro, and I've had enough enough. Okay.
My bad.
You've had enough show. No. But I mean, like,
sorry, brother.
What is the word like? Because I'm gonna chime in on that. Authentic content, bro. Like, that is what you that's what we're going on, right? And why do you think that people that are in these positions don't even fucking know about that authentic shit?
Bro, it's because the people. So this is what I talk about all the time, and it's a testament to a wider problem that I talk about openly in New Zealand. Is that I mean it's been opened up with the Black Lives Matter and stuff, that we have a big race issue in New Zealand, but where I always bring it back to is we don't have it isn't just a race. We have a massive class issue in New Zealand. So there's a massive gap in between people with money and people without money, bro. We have rich as fuck people in New Zealand, and there's suburbs and suburbs of them. There's thousands of them, rich as fuck. But then we have even more people that, bro. There's people in parts of the country that are getting third world diseases. Like that's how poor the poorest in our country go. So the gap between the classes is humongous, and so that's why when you get people that are making decisions on behalf of networks, people that are making decisions for stuff that's being created for an audience, obviously they're in a position of power, and they are obviously in that position because they're in a very different class of society to the rest of us. And that's why when you take an idea like that, or you take an idea that the average everyday New Zealander would understand, and you take it to them, and they just can't fucking understand any part of it because it's so different from the world they know. Because there really is two different worlds in New Zealand that each side experience. And me being from a position of privilege in comparison to the lower class, and me being able to go to Scots in private school, but me being from Wainui, and me experiencing poverty even in India, like I've been very, very lucky to have an understanding of like the differences in class that is a reality in New Zealand. And so that's what I bring it down to, bro. There's just people in New Zealand that live such a fucking different world to what we understand. So that's when I make a joke about certain things. They're like, oh, that's racist, or oh, no, like that's made up. It's like, no, you fucking idiot. Like,
it's not. Yeah,
that's my fucking uncle. He talks exactly like that, because it's just a world that they just cannot even comprehend, let alone have ever experienced,
bro. Because I work in a very I work with people that are in that bubble, right? And whenever, bro, here's my trick that I do all the time. they'll go, oh, I've just, we're broke this week. I just got a new pony or some shit like that, right? And then I'll just sit there and I'll look at them and I go, someone got stabbed at the dairy like yesterday.
Oh, straight up, man.
And then I'll just stare at them and look like, someone got stabbed at the dairy down the road, and I'll just stare.
Honestly, bro, it's fucking, like I see another one that came out quite recently was this was honestly today, like a lady tried to sort of start an argument with me online about so Art and Matilda, for anybody that doesn't know, they're from The Bachelor, and they were getting a lot of shit for having a guy who was spouting conspiracy theories and shit on his platform, and on their podcast, sorry. And all the comments were like, why the fuck would you let this dude come on? It's dangerous if you let somebody speak out, spouting stuff like that. That's dangerous. And I was just looking at all these comments, and I was fucking laughing, bro, because I was like, because they were all commenting on, influencer culture is so toxic, and people hold you guys to a certain standard, and you have to meet that as influencers. And I was looking at that and I was like, fucking even none of you live in the real world. Like you guys think that because these people have and this is me talking as Art and Matilda, my very good friends. But I know that they'll agree with where I'm coming from on this. Is that the people in that part of the world, they hold these influencers to such a high fucking esteem just because they have all these followers, that all their problems are, you guys need to say this with your platform, you guys need to use that, you guys need to act a certain way. But they don't realize that the other half of New Zealand, that actually have to live through the world and live through all these problems, they don't give a fuck about like what people are saying, on those kinds of things. They're actually having to face the problems, and actually having to deal, like, then you know what I mean? Like there's just a massive misunderstanding of what's actually important. And on one side, people are feigning responsibility of any actions onto people that are visible, and on the other side, people are just trying to get by each day. But one side is speaking for the other, as if that side is the side that needs to be taken care of. Whereas they're all like, no, we don't even give a fuck about what you guys are arguing about. We're worried about how our kids are going to eat. We're worried about, if we're going to have power fucking the rest of this week. And so it's just it's a massive, there's just a complete misunderstanding from one side of how the other side actually lives. And that's why, again, I just bring it back to something as simple as you take a character like a bouncer to people, and they just don't see how it's real in any way, because for them, like, none of that side of the world is any part that they've ever experienced, even though fucking they're on Ponsonby Road and that's on K Road. It's like, it's literally around the corner.
Yeah. And I think probably the most frustrating thing would be probably around that, like, I don't want to be fucking a bad dude about this, but no matter how hard you work, there must be that fucking, like, man, fuck this, like, no matter how hard you work and you're putting your shit out there and you're getting that thing, there's always that gatekeeper, and that gatekeeper is always fucking Dr. Chris fucking Warner, that cunt. You know what I'm saying? Or, like that rich motherfucker that just don't give a fuck about old Dr. Ropata,
Yeah, bro.
He's just all like, nah, actually, this is and he's the gatekeeper, but that gatekeeper needs to get the fuck out, because new things are happening and social media is fucking blowing the fuck up. And that's why it's really cool to see that, even though that shit happens, with fucking talented cunts like you just kind of keep fucking driving. And I think, like, that's something for me to go, oh, okay, like, fuck. Yeah, I just got to keep going and see where this takes me. You know what I mean?
Means a lot, bro. Yeah. No, I think, and that's why, even in like a lot of the meetings I've been taking, and the position that I'm kind of in, the thing that I keep relaying to people is that, what I talk about and how I talk, this isn't going to change as I sort of grow. And if anything, I'm actually going to get more and more open about it, because all this shit, people in this position, none of you guys fucking understand. So of course you're not going to talk about it. And so that's why, I try to get vocal, and that's why I fucking talk so long. So I'm sorry about that, bro.
Nah,
but
don't be fucking sorry about that, bro. The people want to hear that shit.
Yeah, but it was funny, bro. I was talking to one of my good mates, Biondi, who, for anybody that may know Biondi Seal, he's on Instagram. He's definitely making waves as an Instagram comedian. He had a pretty good following, and then he's just started it again. But Biondi was saying, like, bro, I don't really have it. There's no market for me here. And this is a dude who had, close to 10,000 Instagram followers. He's got a massive support in the Polynesian community for sure. And the industry stuff has, had convinced him, because of the people that make decisions, that he just has no chance of making it here. And what I was saying to him was like, bro, how the fuck, look at Laughing Samoans. They're still touring. And they've been touring for years and years. They've been selling out all these venues, and you never hear a shit about them on mainstream media.
Exactly.
But who you hear it from is from the communities, because they're selling out theaters all over the country, and that's all that matters. And social media this day and age proved it, is that you don't need that validation from mainstream media anymore. You never needed it, but you really don't need it now. You can just go straight to your audience, and you can make a career from there. And I'm a perfect example, bro. I just became the youngest person to sell out Sky City, and I did it twice. and I haven't been on TV for longer than a fucking minute, and I haven't done shit anywhere else. So, and as you saw, bro, like I started out, no one was fucking listening to what I was doing. To this day, I'm still a normal as dude. I don't really, see. There's no real part of me that's like extraordinary. It's all stuff that can be copied and emulated, and I want people to copy and emulate it. And that was just done, just me going looking directly for the people that may or may not like, that may like anything I'm doing, and just capitalizing off that. Yeah.
Bro, do you think like it's a more of a societal thing in terms of the ceiling? Because I mean, like, yeah, TV, I get it. You get a fucking appearance fee, and you get some money here and there. But is it like nowadays, man? Like nobody's fucking with TV. Let's be honest. Like
yeah,
only is like nan and uncle that fucking like watch it a little bit. It's more online content, correct?
Yeah, bro, absolutely, and it's not that valid. It's not the validation point. The reason it's still validation in the industry isn't the reason TV thinks it is. So, TV thinks you need television for exposure. They think you need it to grow your brand, which it just isn't the case anymore. Like I get offers on television. They're like, it'd be good exposure for you, and I'm like, I don't really need that shit. I didn't need that shit before. I didn't, before when I didn't have followers.
Yeah.
Because the exposure that I'll be getting is I'm just exposing myself to the people that I know already want to see what I'm talking about. But for me, like I still am definitely chasing opportunities in TV, but it's completely organic to me, and the only reason I'm doing so is because there's obviously still resources at TV that are beyond what I'd be able to do just by myself. But in regards to any validation for my brand, for exposure, all the legs that TV still stands on, like those aren't real anymore. No one needs that shit for the reasons they think. So it's a massive change, and it's going to be interesting in New Zealand because we're the last ones to really realize it. But when we do, we're going to see a lot of very, very talented people coming through and taking advantage of. Take it like yourself, like you've already been building up before the big changes even come, and when it does, fuck, you and me will be killing it, bro. Everyone we know that's on social will be killing it, and I just can't wait for it, man.
My biggest thing was like, I mean, bro, the reason why I was like, like I saw you doing your shit, and I was like, fuck, bro, that's inspiring. I'm gonna give it a crack. But like, it's really about like me, kind of like, because bro, all I used to do was fucking jam video games and talk mad spicy about some shit, right? And then like I was like, there's no fucking there's a ceiling for that shit. But in terms of like hosting and being able to verbalize and communicate and talk to people, there's no ceiling. You can keep going and going and going.
Hard, bro.
So yeah, fucking hell. But it's a weird thing, eh?
It is, bro. And I think like you and me have found the value in what we do is really the only value that we hold in doing any of this. Is like we get to do what the fuck we want, and we get to do it how we want with the people that want us to do it. So that's all the validation I need to do what I do. That's all the validation you need. And for me, looking for all the other opportunities is just me trying to expand and build an even stronger foundation. But in regards to what I'm doing in the core of what I'm doing, I'm fucking more than happy just to stay where I am, because I know at the end of the day, if there's nothing else, the things that I have to fall back on and rely on are the things that I just like doing anyway. So it doesn't really matter what else comes or doesn't come.
Because it's almost like it's building equity, right? Like I'm building it up. So I'm like, bro, because when I first started, I put this idea to like another channel, like not like a Twitch channel, but they run gaming stuff. And they were like, nah, like, sorry. And then I got John Campbell on and shit done changed. They were like, hey, fuck, bro, you still keen? I was like, nah, actually, fuck, I'm not cuss. Like, I'm good.
Suck my fucking dick. Yeah,
and then, and it's really funny because, like, I just, like, right now, I just don't need it. Like, I'm like, cool. Yeah. I don't have anyone censoring me. I could talk about pussies and fucking all types of shit, the shit I like to talk about. You know what I mean?
Me too. Thank you.
But yeah, bro, like, so being a comic, bro, is it really like, are you out to be the best comic in New Zealand, bro, or is this like a stepping stone for you to just be able to create more shit?
It's definitely both, bro. So I think I mean, it absolutely is a stepping stone for me to create bigger things. I've always been pretty open with the fact that writing, directing is my sort of my long term goal. But how I've kind of mapped out my plan, and even what's transpiring now was always something that I visualized and actually planned out early days. And so on the way to that end goal of what I'm hoping to do is obviously keep building in other areas. Becoming the biggest to come out of New Zealand is exactly that. And the way I measure it isn't just in like ticket sales and numbers, but it's having the cultural touch points in different areas, and it's in ways that, to me, the only other person that's done it to the level that I want to do it was Uncle Bill, was Billy T. So, and he was doing music, he was doing movies, he was doing TV, and no one else. The only guys that come close would be Taika and Flight of the Conchords on the level that I want to be doing it. But for me, how I've always explained it to people is what Flight of the Conchords did with television and touring, and then what Taika did with movies, putting it all together. I want to be what Billy T was doing here in New Zealand, but on the level that those boys were doing it across, having and touching every point of culture, whether it's fashion, whether it's film, whether it's music. Like I fully have dreams of writing, directing Hollywood movies, but then also having a skit on like a Kendrick Lamar song or some shit like that. To that level, bro, across a broad range of mediums and across culture in so many different ways, and just being myself the whole fucking time.
Yeah. Because that is the gold standard, those three.
Yeah, bro.
Easily.
100%.
Coming from Wellington, bro, did you ever run into Taika?
Nah, bro. I still haven't met Taika, but it's funny. I've got like so many of my closest mates and people that I sort of work with and deal with. I'm very, very close to Taika, so it's always been one thing that I knew was it's going to come one day. I know we'll work together eventually. Like I know that'll come.
See, I like that thinking, eh? Like I'm like that too. I'm like, it will happen. It's just I just have to be patient, and I just have to wait my time,
Yeah. So, I know it'll come eventually, bro. But yeah, that dude is obviously a massive influence on me as not only just a creative, but as a man. And I just look up to that dude big time, man.
Bro, I've got a Mount Rushmore of people that I need to talk to on my podcast, bro. He's one of them. It's him.
Who?
Uncle Bully? Nah. It's...
I'll just go get him next door, bro.
Bro, can you just take your head off for a second, brother? I reckon. Just get changed. I'll kill Uncle Bully. Oh, fucking.
Hey, Uncle. Hey, my brother Timmy.
It's him. It's Steve, and Taika, Steve, Jacinda, and probably Tom Scott are my three. Are my four.
That's a good, bro. And knowing Tom Scott as well, they're all about just as accessible as each other. Tom Scott's a hard dude to get to.
Fuck, no way. Like, I was trying to, the bro spell was like, oh, bro, fucking, he was like, I don't know if you can get that one, but anyway, but yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But
that's me,
that's my ones, bro. Is it hard, like? Bro, and I have this problem. I don't want to say it's a problem, but when you got to turn it on and off when you're out in the I'm the same dude I am, but you got to.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. And so a good mate of mine. Apologies for the name drop. A good mate of mine is William Wairua. So
shit.
I found it hard, but I found it exceptionally hard the more and more I'm around him, bro, because he's just like. That dude is just honestly 24/7 himself. Like, people think it's a character, but bro, that's legit him. And when with his interactions with because that dude gets fucking like mauled. Like, he's just always him. It's always so natural. It's always so organic. And I think for me, I always found it hard, even just before anybody knew me on social media. Just doing stand up. I found it hard after gigs and stuff. You sort of feel the pressure of people wanting to, you need to keep that thing going. And I mean, I I feel like I do a good enough job handling it. And you wouldn't know that I was finding it hard, but I do find it hard. And it's just that, yeah, it can be exhausting, bro? Like, you just always feel like you've got to sort of be cracking a joke, or you know that people they have this little silent expectation that they're holding you to, and if you don't meet it, they're going to be disappointed. So I know exactly what you mean, bro. And yeah, for sure, I definitely find it hard. Absolutely.
Because I mean, like, sometimes, like, I mean, I don't know if, like, going out to the supermarket and shit like that, but, like, in terms of just, turning it off, it must be really tough, man. Like I get it, and I get it not like when there's meetups and shit like that. Sometimes I'm always like, oh, I've got to be on, like, but like, that's nothing compared to fucking what you have to fucking deal with at times, bro.
Yeah, it's been quite. I think that the cool thing is, so my brother, he's 15, he's just on school holidays, but for the last few days, even I've just got him sort of working for me over the next 2 weeks, and it's been cool having him there to sort of experience it and then be able to talk about it, because like, it catches you off guard, obviously, somebody coming up to you, and it's the biggest honor, bro. Like, I get so blown away every time someone does it. Like, I can't even. I still can't even really, like, understand, why someone would even feel so strongly that they want to come up to me and take a photo or just say what's up. Like, it means the world. But it's that exact thing that, for me, I'm so appreciative of it, that I then am constantly thinking to myself, like, fuck, I hope they, like, understand that I really, really appreciate it. And so I keep going back and forth in my head about that, as I'm just talking to the motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's, my brother's seen it firsthand that, I would have just talked to them, and then they'll go away, and I'll be like to him, I'll be like really sort of vulnerable or self-conscious for a second. I'll be like, did I seem all good? Like, I didn't seem like a dick or anything, eh? And he'll be like, no, cunt, like, you were sweet. But yeah, it's that it is that little bit of pressure that I'm still sort of struggling with, especially when it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I mean, I think that'll be a constant sort of battle, and obviously I'll get better and better with it. It's still all very new to me, but it's definitely something I find hard. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, it's fucking easy. Yeah.
Bro, because I'm saying that, bro, because I saw you at St. Luke's one time, and I said, "What's up, brother?" And you poked the fingers, cunt.
Shut the fuck.
You fucking asshole. Fuck you.
I poked the finger up your bum.
Shit. Nah, fuck. That
Three
would
of them. Still with room left.
Oh shit!
It was like volunteering as tribute on a hallway. It was like
oh shit, bro. Like bro, do you think? Why do you think that like, I suppose comedians, but just in general, think that it's important that they cater to, like, an international audience? They do. You don't. Fuck, it's pretty obvious. But, like,
yeah.
Do you think that's a good thing and or a bad thing, or both, or what do you reckon?
Well, I see it. I've always just looked at people that felt the need to have to, I get, they call it, like, universalize or whatever the fuck, like, globalize the material and stuff. And for me, man, I was so lucky that I got to saw flights and got to saw what Taiko and stuff were doing. Right, people overseas love Kiwis more than fucking Kiwis love each other. So what our own, and it's another offset of tall poppy, bro. Like, we have a national lack of self-esteem, so that we think that anything we're involved in is less than anything else in the world. They're less than the equivalent.
Yeah.
What the equivalent would be overseas. So we see something amazing and we think, unless people overseas are liking it, then we don't really fuck with it.
Yeah.
And it's that attitude that leads people to thinking that they have to, reach beyond what they know in order to have that, in order to have that appeal overseas. But for me, I've just stuck exactly to what I know and who I am, because I truly believe that has global appeal.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that, sure, they may not get the references I'm talking about. Sure, they may not understand every single intricacy. But I know that with the energy I've got and, with the timing and all that shit, like, they'll get it even if they don't get it.
Yeah.
And it'll be funny regardless. And I've seen it firsthand with Flight of the Conchords. Like, those cunts were making... Sorry, also, someone said the C word counter. I'm very sorry that I keep saying it.
Hey, I say cunt all the fucking time. Whoever said the C word counter can get fucked. Okay, sorry, bro. Continue.
Brotherhood, brotherhood. But bro, like in flights they were making like Wellington references and like they're talking about the what it up and shit. And bro, that's on one of the biggest shows that HBO has ever put out. So I think we need to just understand in New Zealand that we have some fucking gold that the rest of the world wants. And we can access it just by being ourselves. We don't need to reach beyond what we know and be something that we're not, because every single instance that a completely authentic New Zealand voice has gone global, like it blows the fuck up, bro.
Mm.
And I mean like completely authentic. Like you ask anybody in New Zealand, and you could walk, I reckon, bro, because of Thor Ragnarok, you could walk up to any random person in fucking like LA and be like, what do you think a Kiwi sounds like? They're not going to go, hey, g'day, mate, I'm on my farm. They're going to go, hey, bro, what's up? My name's Cork.
Fuck.
That's every fucking, like, that's every one of my fucking cousins on the marae. And so that's what I mean, bro. All that authentic part of New Zealand, that other half of New Zealand that I was talking about, that this side doesn't have any fucking clue about, that's the side that the world wants. And so that's the side that I bring out. That's the side that I know the most about. That's the side that I consider myself a part of. And that's the side that I'm going to take to all the biggest corners in the world, and take to all the biggest, whatever the fuck, because that's the true New Zealand. And that's the part that the world loves.
Yeah. Bro, like pathway wise, because it's like, because you're in this fucking good pocket in terms of you're getting engagement, and you're getting fucking like numbers, and you're getting a lot of things that some of these TV channels don't get. But like bro, like what would be like the best ending for the story, bro? For your story, Hollywood
bro,
fucking movies and shit, or what?
It's
Don't be humble.
Yeah. So, bro, there's a few of them. So for me, is absolutely writing as writing and directing a Hollywood movie to the scale of a Thor Ragnarok. With the same amount of involvement as like Taika would have, and an iconic character like Korg, rooted in like authentic New Zealand. People sort of talk shit about how that was like appropriation and shit like that, but fuck, as I said, there's people overseas that they now know that New Zealanders in some way fucking talk like that just because of Korg. So, absolutely a contribution to global culture that, with influences from New Zealand on that level, on a film level. But for me, as I said, being a part of television, but also being a part of I'm obsessed with rap, being a part of rap culture as a comedian, contributing in the States in that way. So touching each cultural point, fashion, going to sort of the biggest, like markets and fashion, like a fashion week, like a Paris fashion week or something like that, with like a clothing line. Not because I have any particular interest in fashion, but just using, much like what a Kevin Hart has done, just using your influence and your platform to just organically move into all those different areas. That's what I want to do, bro. Just through comedy and through who I am, just touch all those different areas, reach all the biggest heights. And as I said, just always bring it back to back home, and just make sure it's all sort of rooted in that.
Yeah. A bit of a backtrack back to comedy a bit, bro. Do you think self-esteem is kind of tied to being a funny cunt? You're funny, and then like you get self-esteem, and then when somebody doesn't laugh at your shit, you're like, I know, like,
absolutely,
in terms of like depression and shit.
Absolutely, bro. I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason it's very well documented to the point where it's almost a fucking cliche that all comedians have depression, which is pretty fucking true, bro. Because the type of people that are funny typically are people that seek external validation, which is why they become funny, because they can't get that validation within themselves. And I know this because that was me, and I'm definitely making roads to where it isn't really anymore. And I was doing that before, social media and stuff. But that was kind of where it started. Is typically a comedian is a comedian because they need that external validation in order to feel fulfilled with themselves, and that's why they're funny. That's why they're able to read people, because they're always sort of looking out of themselves to think, okay, did I just make that person happy? All right, did I do that? And that's where that comes from, bro. That's absolutely where my humor came from. Growing up overseas, I didn't have any fucking mates. I was always by myself, and so I fully looked for that validation in other people, and how I found it was by just talking shit and making fun of fucking every person that I came across. So
because there's definitely a link between like creativity and like mental illness. Like you kind of have to be a bit crazy, or not crazy, but you've got to be able to push the envelope and be a little bit to be creative. Would you agree with that statement? Yeah,
100%. Yeah, bro, for sure. I think even just creativity in itself, you can't be creative. You can't come up with the stuff because would you say that you like suffer from like any of the stuff, any of that stuff? Do you suffer with like lack of self-esteem at times, and you can become a bit emotionally exhausted just from trying to navigate all that stuff? Like, do you face it, bro? Or?
Well, bro, like I used to work at SIFS, bro, Child Youth and Family, in the in the residence. So it was like I worked there for 5 years, bro, with the hardest kids in fucking New Zealand. Right?
Yeah, no shit.
And so I had to fucking, bro, I was a big time wrestling fan, G. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna walk in here and I'm gonna be the fucking Rock, G. This is before the Rock was famous. I'm gonna put this alter ego on, and I'm gonna fucking rock in there, and none of these motherfuckers will fuck with me, right? And I got in there, and I got into this habit of just turning it on, and then being able to de-stress and turning it off, right?
Yeah.
And then but when you're in the real world, you don't know where the fucking stress is coming from. You don't know if it's coming, you can't just put the fucking thing on.
Yep.
So
yeah, bro.
So with streaming, it was kind of like, for me, I could turn myself up to 12, and be all fucking wacky and woohoo, like fucking all that shit. And then I was able to just turn it off. And then, but it does, I mean, you would know, it definitely comes with stress, and it comes with fucking dramas, and especially comics. Like, there's always fucking dramas and shit going on, right?
Bro, and I was talking to someone about this today, bro. It's the toughest thing about stand-up is they don't actually, because it's like such an insular industry, bro, they don't realize like how toxic it is. And it really is fucking toxic. And I knew it from day one because I'd actually, experienced a lot of other things. I've been obviously grown up overseas and worked other jobs and shit. So because of that exact reason that we're talking about, bro, is that it's that the average person needs that external validation. But that want and need doesn't stay at the stage after you've got all the laughs, bros. It actually then funnels down to every single, because what happens is when these people get it on stage, it then funnels off stage, and they need it in every other part of their life, because they need to sort of retain that high and keep that validation within themselves, because you can only gig so much a week, bro. But you get addicted to that feeling, and then you chase it in the rest of your personal life. And so when you come across people that aren't able to give it to you, that's where this culture of sort of toxicity, and that's where a lot of these people become quite jaded and, kind of start to lose who they are, is because of that exact thing.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, I was so lucky that I can honestly say I found myself before I started stand-up, and started to become my own man before I started stand-up. I was so lucky I'd done all of that before I got into the industry. And obviously me starting stand-up came way before I touched anything on TV, before I touched social media. So by the time all this stuff came around, I already knew who I was before I had to face it, but it still didn't make it any less hard. But yeah, bro, that's pretty much where all that comes from, is because
because I think I've never been in that realm, but it's very, very similar to streaming, because everybody's reaching for the fucking golden chalice, brother.
Yeah.
And the golden chalice is fuck whatever you think it might be. It might be fucking
Pretty
TV
much.
deals. It might be fucking 7 days. It might be this. It might be that, right?
Yeah.
And when someone grabs it and somebody else doesn't, bro, there's always some fucking bullshit that happens, cuz. And
yeah, bro,
that's exactly what it is, right?
For sure. And I think I think in the in this day and age, with virtue signaling and there's so many tools that people use to try and cut others down. And they use it, they hide behind these different things to as a means to being able to do that.
Yeah.
But I was lucky again that I spotted that early, and I just never sort of subscribed to any of that. I never really gave a fuck about any of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I was able to sort of navigate through it, almost to the point where kind of the whole industry was here, and I was just kind of here just doing my own thing. And
Yeah.
And yeah, I just put that down to being very lucky that I just experienced my life before I got anywhere near any of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it kind of like I always come back to this. There's two types of people, right? People that will bust down other people's towers, and people that will just build their own. And that's why I was like watching you, bro. I could just see you going, "Fuck, I'm just gonna build as much as I can, bro, and get the tallest tower in the fucking city." And instead of kind of like bad mouthing or fucking going, "Yo, this cat," you just went, "Nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna keep building," even though people, like that's what
Appreciate
it is, right?
Bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, bro. And that fully was what it, how I felt through the whole process. And that in itself is very hard because fucking, I'm not trying to sound like a sad sack or anything, but it is very you do feel like you're on your own quite a lot, and you're holding yourself accountable, and you're really just fucking chasing the wind, bro. Like you don't really have anything to aim for because there's no one in your lane. But for me, that's a much easier road than this pathway that's set out with all this bullshit in front of it. I'd much rather just chase the darkness, bro. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously paid off, but I don't fault people for being scared to chase it, because it is a lot of uncertainty, and especially for me, like I was incredibly, I lacked a lot of confidence when I was growing up, and lacked self-esteem. I was a very sort of low confidence kid, young man, even dude in my early 20s. So I fully understand why people don't go that road. But I stand here as somebody who's, obviously going through it and has reaped some rewards in some way from it. And it's worth it every single time.
Yeah. Radical said it in the chat. You can't see the light without the dark, eh?
Brotherhood. That's a fucking good, yeah, absolutely. And for me, uncertainty, but the possibility of whatever you're dreaming and whatever you're planning, I'll take that every day over a clear pathway with clear obstacles. I'd much rather just fucking go the other way.
I thought she was actually talking about our skin complexion, brother, but
yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, maybe go hang out at a beach.
Pull of Vanaka, brother.
Vanaka, bras. I know I saw a bit of super in you.
Bro, I'll tell you what, G. I went to Japan. I went to Japan, and on the way over there was Fiji. I fucking loved it, bro. I'm going back.
Yeah, true. Well, what'd you get up to over there?
I took my mum and my kids over, and fuck, it was the shit, yo. It was good taking my mum, because I could just go, "Hey, mum, look after the kids," and then I would just go to the arcades, bro. Overnight.
Straight up, hey.
Fuck, I'd be back at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure my mum thought I was going to the brothel or some shit. Bro, I was playing Street Fighter till like 4 in the morning, cuz.
Fucking hell. Did you like hang out with some fucking characters on those, or
bro?
Like when you were there?
Yeah. Bro, they just invite you when they find out. Bro, I went 3 days after the Rugby World Cup. So I just had my All Blacks jersey on. I just rocked around like, "Yo, fuck." And they were like, "Hey, All Blacks, come." And then, bro, I was all good.
They probably thought you fucking played. They were like, hey,
yeah, that was the whole fucking idea.
White crooked.
I just pulled the traps out, G, and I just walked around like, "Fuck, yo." And they're like, "Hey,
fucking hell.
I look like a fucking prop, G, not gonna lie.
Bro, fuck, I mean, you would not go amiss if you said you're All Black in Fiji, bro. You'd get the fucking red carpet pulled out.
No.
They'd name an island after you.
Bro, that's trippy as shit, though. Have you ever been to Japan?
No, I haven't been to Japan, bro. But I randomly, it was the first like language that I kind of became conversational in. So I took up I started Japanese lessons when I was in Malaysia, and then lost it for a bit, and then started taking it when I started at Scott's, and I started to become conversational, bro. And no shit, I got so concussed. I got concussed so badly in year 10 that I had to take 3 months off school, bro. And I came back, didn't remember any Japanese.
Bro, did TJ Vata's dad call you a pussy after that, G?
Oh my god! How the fuck do you know about that?
Bro, I'm from Clinton, G. We know everything.
No shit, bro. You really have done your research, and yeah, he did.
Yeah, I bet he did. I heard he was a fucking hard coach, G.
Man, he was yeah. He, it's been stuff that I found hard to deal with even beyond high school, man. Like it was to the point where it was humiliating, bro. But it was a massive character building, massive character. But bro, I'm just shocked that you even know about that shit. That's fucking insane.
What do you mean?
I can't remember ever talking about that publicly. So I'm trying to think, like, fucking.
Bro, you don't need to talk about it publicly.
Okay, bro, you really do. You really do your research.
I got my fucking ears to the streets, brother.
Bro, brotherhood, you do that shit. Yeah. Like, even the shitting the bed, I'm like, how the fuck did you find out about that?
Gee,
bro, that's impressive, man.
Fucking plot twist, it was me, bro. I shit the bed.
Fuck, you're on scholarship too, you bastard.
I'm back here. I'm fucking shooting up the club, motherfucker, with my shit.
Shooting up the club.
with these fucking diarrhea, G. Shooting up the club.
Fucking hell. But yeah, bro. No, that was yeah. Fuck that was hard, bro. But I look back and. That was that had a lot to do with who I've become today, man. So that was some pretty fucking hard times with that dude, but no, it's made me a lot of what I am today. So it's a big fuck you, but a big thank you for sure.
Cheer. All right, we're gonna go through some of these questions from the chat. If anybody's got a couple or more, just chuck them in. Q exclamation mark Q in the chat if you got one. All right, first one, and I'll go through all of them, bro. There's no fucking censoring in this shit. First one, Fiesco says, Tim, why you look so angry? Fuck you, Fee, that's why. You fuck. Next question. Jesus Christ. Next one. The bros said, I asked that question. It was about locking eyes with the dude taking a shit. We got that one. I've got the Mighty Unga from Nue says, The Rock, he says, after town feeds, what's your go-to, bro? Macca's, BK, or J&M's?
Fuck, that must be a dude from Wellies. But J&M's every single time. I think Wellington Council just did like a little segment on, like Wellingtonians, and they were asking where their favorite spots were, and fucking J&M's every time, bro. That's the only place where you can ask for a fried rice, bro, and you get fried rice, sour pork, and some pussy. It's out the gate. Like, and
shit.
It's the same price. No added extras, bro. Just the Uber. But even then, like, fuck, I just pretend like I don't have a phone.
Are we talking about actual pussy or cat, G? What's going on?
Bro, honestly, J&M's, anything goes, bro.
Anything
you can
goes.
Fucking get both. You can get both.
Oh, shit.
And it's part of that $12.50 fried rice, sweet and sour pork combo.
Bro, have you heard of the Wainu wallet, G?
The Wainu wallet?
Yeah. Just the Pringle. You get a Pringles can and some sponges, G. Ask them if they sell that. Next question from my OG Tyrone, straight out of Randwick Park over here. We've got how many Fijian Maldives do you know that aren't family?
Fuck, not many. I think I had a couple. Shout out to Tyrone as well, bro. You've been following me for fucking ages too. I'm pretty sure that's you. Your username may be different.
Yeah, it's got a Y in it.
Yeah. If that's the one, bro, he's been following me for ages. So fucking shout out to you, brother.
I used to coach him, G.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Fijian. Last name's Kumabula. Okay.
Is that his name?
That's his Tyrone Kumabula. He doesn't care if I fucking say it.
Shout out, Rome. You're the fucking man, bro. Appreciate you supporting me so long. But no, I don't know many, man. I've met one or two have like messaged me through Instagram, but bro, before that, fuck, I hadn't met any.
I got in the chat, don't dox him. I'll fucking dox him.
Don't
Yo,
dox it.
I'll fucking dox him, G. Fuck, he knows. Bro, I'll tell you the
Shut
story
up,
about
bro.
that cat, fuck. One time, G. Nah, nah. It's probably like, please, Tim. Please, Tim,
One
don't.
time at 27 Frederick Street, he
Bro, we used to have uniforms. Bro, and like they used to go up, like the highest uniform you can go is 55 because it was like triple XG.
yeah.
The brother was at 54. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, is that Rome?
That's
Rome?
all Tyrone, bro. That's my G. He was a big
my,
dude, but I would
brother,
always
you've been
put him in
hanging
the team.
outside J&M's.
Yeah, I would always
getting.
Fuck. I know where that's going to. Getting some fresh pussy. No. I used to always put him in the team, bro. He wasn't even. He was good, but he wasn't like fucking. Yeah, I put him in any team I was in because he was the best dude to fucking on the bench. G, just yo, fucking yo. He was the best team guy I've ever had in my life.
My man. But that was,
You need that.
bro, Scott's first 15. Fuck, I know exactly how you mean, Rome. You're the fucking man. Scott's first 15, 2012. Bro, you know how in rugby there's 23 like players in a squad?
Yep.
My jersey number was 24. I was Tyrone of Scott's. So shout out to you, brother. That's us, my boy.
So you gotta say my number was the John's Fencing in Wainui.
The sponsored one, too.
John's Fencing 2672944 0473.
Or the breather who just gets like it's like his auntie's name.
Down by the bum, down by the bum area. Oh, shit. All right, next question coming from Talia. Talia asks, Joe, what kind of advice would you give a young adolescent looking at getting into comedy?
So, Charles, thank you for the question. The biggest advice I would give is, I mean, you don't have to in the slightest, but the biggest thing I would say is just know like what you find funny, like, and not only just in general, but in yourself. Like, what do you do that actually you like laugh at? Like, what do you find funny? Because for what I've found, and I've always, because people have asked me about, advice for comedy and stuff. The funniest shit is the shit you find funny, because regardless of whether anybody else finds it funny, that energy it can always be felt. Like, comedy is one of those things where, fuck, you can just feel energy, and people's energy can just be hilarious, and they don't even have to be saying anything particularly funny. So that's all I would say is, like, know what you find funny within yourself, and then pull that out, put that on whatever platform you're wanting to be on. And I promise you, your content, it may take a while. Like, from mine, Timmy knows it took ages for anybody to get it, but once they do, they'll get it very, 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 very well. And it's just easy to maintain because it's just coming from within yourself. So that's what I would honestly say.
The second part of your question was, do you think social media is the way to go?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, depending on like what you're wanting to do. For me, like, starting it on stage, starting it in something, like something physical was really, really good for me, because it kind of pulled everything out of me, because I was still quite like an in my shell kind of dude. And that physical side of stand-up, that really pulled all my confidence out of me. And so, even if you have no intention of doing stand-up, it does wonders for your confidence, even just going up once, let alone multiple times. So for anybody wanting to get into social media, I honestly would just say, just go do a couple open mics, because once you get that confidence out of you doing it in front of all these randoms and shit, it's so easy to then stand in front of a camera and just start doing, dances and shit. So, I would say give opening yourself up a go, because it's always easy to just pick up a camera and just fucking do it.
Yeah. Next one's from just for kicks. He says, bucket list of venues you'd like to perform at, bro.
So Spark Arena for sure, bro. Doing kind of what 660 did with Western Springs, bro. That would fully be the equivalent for me would be doing Spark Arena. Absolutely. And then overseas in the UK, doing the Apollo was always has always been a big one. So doing live at the Apollo for sure. And then I would say probably and it's bad that I can't remember the fuck. Oh, sorry. And then Radio City Music Hall in New York City. That would absolutely be those would probably be my three. So the Apollo in London, Radio City Music Hall in New York City, and then Spark Arena. And I imagine the Spark Arena thing being on the back of, me going overseas and, having a fair amount of success over there, and then doing a big homecoming sort of gig and just kind of talking about my experiences. So that's how I've always envisioned it.
Here's a question from Fiasco. Fiasco's always in here fucking trolling my shit.
Shut up, Fee.
Fuck you, Fee, you bitch. Next one. What would your rap group be called, G?
Rap group? Probably... my rap group, probably rap group. My rap group will probably be called A Tribe Called Tiatiawa Toa. Shout out Taranaki, Waikuru Marae. Let's fucking get it.
Hold up, cuz. Are you from Taranaki, G?
Yeah, bro. No, my family's from Marae.
Cuzzy. I'm Tiatiawa hard, G.
Fuck, no, you're not.
Fucking straight up white brother.
Bro, we cousins.
Bro, we are cuz.
What's your bro? What's your last name?
Fuck that. I'm not saying that shit on here.
Yeah,
mate.
Okay, you don't want to say that? No, fair enough.
We'll do the after show, G, and I'll let you know.
We're definitely cousins then, bro.
Brotherhood. Yeah, bro. Oh, fuck. Anyway, bro, moving on.
That's my iwi. That's my iwi, bro.
That's my iwi too, cuzzy. Fucking look at that, eh? Next question from the bro Unga.
I honestly love that, man.
Oh no, bro. When's the tour with PAX happening, G? We love PAX.
The tour with PAX. This is so funny. So me and PAX actually, this isn't me at all saying that this is going to happen, but me and PAX had a massive chat about his social media and how he can build it up, because obviously PAX has been around the game for ages and he's done everything in stand up. Obviously everybody fucking knows PAX, but he hasn't been able to build up his platform to kind of what I've been able to for no fault of his own, just like not having sort of the skills and experience that I've been able to have to be able to take advantage of it. So we actually talked about it, and basically I told him, I was like, bro, and this was part of a bigger conversation we had, was I said to him, bro, for me, I've never seen anyone as competition, because I'm going to do what I do regardless. Like someone else doing it is not going to stop me from wanting to do the same thing if what they've done is something I want to do. So I've never seen anyone as competition. And so that's why for you, I'm more than happy to just tell you what the fuck you need to do, because the business side of me is thinking, okay, well, if PAX starts to build up, then fucking let's just go on tour together. And, rather than, we're both, if we were to both do like a Sky City or a Town Hall, then we could go do like a fucking Spark Arena or some shit. So I literally had that conversation with PAX only a few weeks ago, bro. And, he's going to start making progress on his social media in the same way that I have, through similar means. And I told him, I was like, bro, there's unlimited room at the top. Like, it's not some little fucking, there's not some cuzzy at the door checking like, oh, nah, yep, fucking, all right, we've only got a few spots left. Bro, anybody can get up there. And when they do, it actually just becomes even better, because then we just all start working with each other, capitalizing off each other, and just fucking boom. So we've talked about it. I've made it very clear to him that, that if he was to start doing it, there's no competition on my side. We're working together. So that was a conversation that we've had.
Sweet, bro. Next question is from Pax. He says, "Your shit can't fuck up." No,
hey, shut up, Pax. Catch up, motherfucker.
Next one, bro, is from Fiasco. She said, how bored were you listening to Tim's basketball fucking stories? Shut up, Fee, you bitch. Fucking hell.
No, this has been a great fucking conversation, brother. Honestly, she's just fucking man. But I was bored as fuck.
But straight up, don't talk for that long anymore, Tim. Shit.
No, you're the man, brother.
This one's from John, bro. John says, did you like eating snots porridge?
Sure, honey. I think he's talking about I like eating snots porridge. What was it like being a brown boy to go to a preppy white school like Scott's? Does he like eating snots porridge? I do like eating snots porridge when it comes out of your mum's ass. So that's the first thing. The other thing...
Keep going, bro.
But it was, the follow-up was the brown boy going to a preppy white school. in all honesty, it was very difficult, bro. It was hard, because yeah, I mean, it's everything you would expect. Is like there's a lot of for lack of a better word, fucking there is a lot of stereotyping and racism. Not even just from like your own peers, but I think because I wasn't even like playing rugby really when I started at Scots. So the scholarship that I had was more it was an academic scholarship. It wasn't fucking for sport. But because I was a brown dude and because I then started playing rugby, like, bro, when I came into Scots, my main sport was golf.
Yo, you're a hockey dude too, right?
How the fuck do you know that?
You're fucking Joey D. I gotta know that
Bro,
shit, G.
Honestly, man, you've fucking been legit is like impressing me, the shit that you know.
It's not even my best. This is not even my best inning, G, to be honest.
No shit. No, fuck it. I'm impressed, man.
So, like, why did you give up hockey for?
Bro, it was that thing because so my two main sports was golf in the summer, hockey in the winter. So, but why I packed it in was because I sort of fell into that. You're a brown dude, you should be playing rugby, and the environment there was it put a lot of value into playing rugby, and the cool dudes were cool because they played rugby, and that was what I put all my time and effort into becoming. Like I trained so fucking hard just to make the team, bro, and that's why I got a lot of shit was because I was useless as fuck. But like they knew how hard I trained, and I'm pretty sure the only reason I made the team in year 12 because I was useless, bro. I was so bad at rugby. But the assistant coach, who was also the boarding headmaster, he used to see me like doing shuttles on the field at like 5 a.m. And that was basically what got me in the team when I was year 12. And so I put all my time and effort into making that because I kept getting put in this box by everybody. And then I thought, fuck, maybe if I actually do it, then they may just leave me alone. But it kind of just made things a little bit worse once I was in there because I then was in an even easier box for people to box me into. So Scots was hard, man, for sure. There's a lot of pressure in all areas, and but it definitely made me a better man, and it grew me up very, very fast. And I only look back fondly at like a lot of the memories I had there, but it was definitely tough.
Next one is from Poetry. I call her Popo. She's from America. She said, "Is he single?"
Shout out Po. Yes.
Oh,
very.
Next question from her as well. How big's your dick? No. Next
Bad
one
as fuck.
Next one is, what would be your perfect day, bro, and why?
Perfect day, just going to the movies with my brothers, just going to the movies, bro. Going for a walk. I've always loved going to the movies. Was doing it back in high school. Like I'd just fuck off after school and just go on down to Readings and just go to the movies by myself. And still to this day, bro, that's the perfect day for me. It's just chilling, movies and just kind of fucking around and hanging out with my family and stuff. That honestly is the perfect day for me, and I'm glad that a perfect day was very, very successful, accessible. So that's me, bro.
Sweet. This one's from Bandit, bro. Bandit also, he's a podcast as well, bro. He does this one about mental health, bro, for the bros, called Tabs Up.
Shout out, Bandit.
Yo, his one is, if you were on a deserted island, bro, and you could only take one of the brothers from Chicken, who would you take? Oh, look who shows up in the fucking chat right now.
One of the brothers from the Chicken. Holy. Fuck, I love the Chicken Boys so much, man. I hold those guys very near and dear to my heart. I consider them, fucking some of my best friends. But in saying that, who I would take from the Chicken, I would probably take. Who would I take? I'm trying to because I'm thinking of the deserted island part, bro. So I'm thinking who would be like the most, like fucking like resourceful.
Yeah, Margin works, at a place that has a lot of building stuff.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I know that.
But he'll probably get banned off the fucking island.
Nah, that's what I mean, bro.
For talking shit to a crab. Just fuck you, crab, you piece of shit. Get off the island.
Yeah, he would have given the only snapper in the water. He would have sent their only snapper a dick pic. So I don't know if Bro, Marge would be up there because me and Marge fucking only have great conversations. So he would be there. It would be between him or I might have to go. Might even be Benny, bro. Maybe. I'd go Benny or Marge. I feel like either one where it'd just be chill, bro. It'd just be chill. I think the rest of the boys, I reckon they'd crack in that kind of situation. Wayno, don't even get me started. The only thing he'd be cracking is my butt cheeks. There he would absolutely be trying that. Reegs, fucking don't even get me started. Mose, fuck no. Nah, yeah, it would be between Marge or Benny, bro, for sure.
Bro, if you do build a hut somehow, you know, Marge, if you needed those walls to get wallpapered, G, if you need some paint on the walls, bro, hit up the old bowling alley down old lanes. The bro had a permanent fucking job wallpapering fucking spew all over the walls. That cunt.
Sorry. It would be between Marge, Benny, and Biondi. It'd be between those three.
There we go.
It'd be between those three. LH, stand the fuck up.
Last question,
Shout
brother.
out my brother B.
What's your go-to jump jam song, bro? Did you ever do jump jam?
Holy go-to jump jam song, probably Big Brothers. But I've talked to heaps of people. I don't know if everybody had that, but yeah,
Big Brothers.
Big
Is it that?
Brothers taking it under the cell. That one? Did you have that?
Yeah, bro, I did have that one.
Yeah. So no, that shit. That was definitely my go-to, bro.
They say that, bro. I used to do this thing when I used to like fucking play like games. If you donated, bro, I'd get up. Yo, I'm busting that jump jam out on stage.
What one?
Bro, whatever they want, G. I let them choose. But I feel like that pick your coconuts from the coconut tree one is fucking racist, G. I didn't want to do that after a while.
But yeah, that shit, eh?
Bro, and especially when you get the big ones, G. And you get the big ones and you're like this. And it's like, holy shit.
The coconut tree one. Bro, that one and fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken Pizza Hut. That fucking one.
I forgot about that one. Fucking
that one. I swear there was like a rodeo one. There was like a rodeo one. And then fucking Poirier was obviously.
Yeah. And then they had bro, it was funny, eh? Like I used to work at a school in South or like hardcore, like in Clinton. And anytime they all fuck away.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Bro, you'd get these little 6-year-olds go, fuck away. I was like, whoa. That was their permission to swear, bro. They'll just be telling everyone to fucking go away. And I'm like, fuck away. And I'm like, oh, wait. Shit.
Bro, straight up, mate. Fuck, I'm trying to think, like, what?
Right, there was the Witch Doctor one, G?
Oh, Witch Doctor. Because did anyone ever actually have to watch the Jump Jam DVD with the fucking dude, bro?
That dude was on fucking Cinnies, G.
Bro, he was...
That dude was on the Cinnies.
Oh, Brotherhood, those Jump Jam tutorials would be on Inu now if they were still doing them. That crazy was fucking what's cracking.
But that dude's from Tauranga, that's why. Jeez.
Is he actually?
Yeah, bro, he's from fucking Tauranga, bro. I somebody told me about the bro, and I was like, fucking hell. Yeah, he's
no
quite
shit.
He's quite fucking.
He's from Te Puna.
Bro, he's fucking rich as fuck. I bet. Just selling those DVDs off.
Bro, actually, that's fucking true.
Bro, we need to get him on the shit, G.
He would have made a killing, bro. Would you try to get him on the show?
Fucking A, bro. What's his name? Somebody knows his name in this motherfucker.
Yes, surely, someone knows his fucking name.
Let's get him on.
Bald dude.
And I'll bring you on too, bro. Me and you will
bro,
ask him.
Straight up. I feel like it might have been Lee Hart, like before like TV started. Before TV started working.
Bro, fucking plot twist, G. That's the guy that shit the fucking beard, G. It's like, hey, wait a minute, that is the guy. Brett Fairweather. Yeah. That's his name, Brett Fairweather.
Brett Fairweather. Fuck, bro, this chat is unreal, man. Like, they know fucking everything.
Oh, well, that's how we do it in here, brother. All right, bro.
Shout out everyone in the chat.
That's all their quick fires were. It's my time now, G. Here we go. What's the best bakery you've ever been to, brother?
Best bakery I've ever been to would probably have to be fuck, where did I used to get? There used to be this bakery in Nino, bro. I don't know if it's still there, but it was across the road from Nino Pools, which is like, I reckon it was I reckon it was number one, my Shadden pool. Like, if you got an average, like, I reckon Nino Pools would be up there, bro. Just shit constantly because the bakery across the road was unreal. Like, I know cuzzies were straight potato top pieing and then fucking manuing in the pool. Like, like not even, they hadn't even like digested and just fucking straight manu in the pool. So
Go for it, bro.
yeah, it was a Mr. Bun. It was Mr. Bun and Nino.
Hey.
So I reckon that would be my favorite, bro.
Hey, bro, the chat's lit, bro. Fuck.
Yeah.
They
fucking
correct,
oath.
They correct you all the time, bro.
Fucking oath.
Yeah,
No, I love it.
It's nice. It's like having Wikipedia just at your fucking fingertips, bro.
Straight up, but it's fucking, it's everyone on Cine's Crickopedia.
Bro, what's the go-to pie though, cuz?
But I was always potato top when I was a kid.
Ooh.
I was always potato top. But I think now that, you know, it's an amalgamation of all the worlds I've been able to, you know, it's the amalgamation of, you know, it's a little bit of India, it's a little bit of white, and then, you know, you put it in a low socioeconomic area. I got to go with butter chicken pie. That might be my go-to.
Bro, I had a curry beef pie.
How was that?
Bro, it was okay, but like it was but I got no Fijian in me, cuz. You know, so it was a bit too spicy for me.
You do after that. Shit.
Oh, fucking what?
And then
Afterwards,
you fucking just
shooting up the club, brother.
Squat. You have to squat on a fucking on a skip bin after that one. Never on a rubbish bin. Fucking
shooting up the club. Brother, what's your silliest fear, G? Have you got a silly fear that you're like, fuck, why do I worry about that shit?
Silliest fear. Fucking silliest fear was probably I always knew like what my legitimate fear was, but like a silly one maybe okay, this is gonna sound very like not progressive and very non-PC, but I remember when I used to walk along K Road as a kid when I'd just come back and just seeing the prostitutes, bro, they used to scare the shit out of me. And I don't know why. Like, it just used to scare. Like, and I was we'd just come back to New Zealand. And yeah, just for some reason, they used to scare the shit out of me. And actually, I've got one even worse. This is how like vanilla I was at one point, to the point where my parents were like, fuck, is our kid going to be leading a couple of pride parades in a few years' time? Bro, when we would come back from overseas and, you know, visit just like for a couple of weeks here and there, you know, if like there were birthdays or something. And I've got family that live out in Mangere. And so we would go to Mangere markets, and brotherhood, I'm not shitting you, I used to like tiptoe like through the markets because I didn't want to touch like the shit on the ground. And it's weird coming from like India where there's fucking just shit on the ground everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think it was just something about, I don't know what it was. I can't even think to why I did it now, but I used to do that shit as well. So who the fuck knows?
Congratulations on getting over your fear of prostitutes, cuz. Anyway, bro, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the progression you've made, bro, in your life.
Hey, shout out for Marge fucking for helping me get through that. So
for breaking the seal. Bro, do you have pineapple on your pizza, cuz?
Fucking oath, yeah. Hawaiian used to be the go, but I honestly didn't know that people found it weird until you know, chat started to go up about it like the last couple years, I'd say. But
yeah.
Fuck, I used to go hard on the Hawaiian and the pizza.
Hard, yeah, those two. Shit, bro, KFC piece, bro. What's the first piece you're going for, cuz?
Drumstick every time. Drumstick. Fuck, it's just too easy, bro.
Really?
It's way too easy. Yeah,
I'm
boring. I'm boring, and I just like shit that makes my life easy, bro. Drumstick every time.
Fuck, do you feel like Fred Flintstone eating that shit, bro? When you're just like
straight up, hey. But my hand is big as fuck, so it always looks like little. But yeah,
okay.
Straight up, I just go ham.
Fuck.
Not like my girlfriend.
What's the favorite? What's your most favorite kind of perk of like your career so far, cuz?
But this is gonna sound so fucking like cheesy, but my favorite thing is honestly, like I said before, I find it hard because it really does mean a lot to me. But when people come up to me and just say what's up, like that's my favorite part by far. Yeah, but by far is my favorite part, because just like it was, when I was growing up, bro, I had like genuinely no mates when I was coming through. You know, when we were overseas and stuff. There's a lot of times I had multiple birthdays, bro, where I was legit just sitting in like our apartment or our hotel room, wherever it was that we may have been living at the time, just sitting in there like by myself. So for me, I always held like people, like I obviously I'm very easy like operating on my own, but for me, just people, I'm very, very appreciative of it. And then you add on top of my passion and what I do, and people that share that same support and passion as you know as I do, it just means so much when people come up and you know just even say what's up or that they love it. So I would say that, bro, for sure.
Yeah. Bro, if you were to set up a comedy festival, bro, for your now not the most popular.
That's a good question. I've never been asked this.
I don't want the most popular fucking cunts. I want the ones that you think would fucking rock it, G.
Yeah. I've never been asked this question, bro, and I love it.
Check,
so four,
brother, four.
So Bobby Lee for sure. If anybody doesn't know Bobby Lee, go listen to Tiger Belly, his podcast. He's fucking hilarious. So I'd go home.
Bro, wait. Before we go on to that, bro, when he says that he got molested by a Down syndrome dude, fuck, G.
True story.
Fuck, just the way, and he's like,
funny.
Don't laugh, and then
the clip on Fighter and the Kid, eh?
Yeah,
bro. If anybody that doesn't know what Timmy's talking about, you've got to go to the YouTube video, Bobby Lee molestation story, Fighter and the Kid, something like that. So story, even if you go Bobby Lee story, Fighter and the Kid, it's the fucking funniest shit you'll ever see, and like that's him, and he's hilarious. You go YouTube anything you can of Bobby Lee, he's fucking like so funny. Yeah. Slip King, Bob the Build-Up's nose.
Bob's the
Shout
Build-Ups.
out to you, brother. Right, Mighty Onga, yep, that's Brendan Shaw's podcast.
Yeah. So we got Bobby Lee, who's the second one you said?
Second one, Andrew Schultz, for sure. Schultzy. So I actually was following Andrew Schultz before he even started, like, you know, putting all his clips and stuff up, because I was actually a big fan, and still am, of Charlemagne the God, and I used to listen to their podcast, The Brilliant Idiots.
Yeah.
And then Schultzy started uploading, you know, his stand-up. And I remember the first one he uploaded was the 444 experience. I think it's something like that. So no, I've been a massive fan of that dude for, I can honestly say, like a few years now. So shout out Schultzy. The third one is Bill Burr. I feel like everyone probably knows Bill Burr. If you've been on Netflix, you would have seen him. He'd be the third one. And then the fourth one would be Eddie Griffin.
Yo, Eddie Griffin. Wow.
Yeah, bro. Grew up on Undercover Brother. That was like my favorite movie. I used to watch it religiously. And then his stand-up is top tier, unreal. So Eddie Griffin would be the fourth.
Oh, bro, I'm glad I'm the first person to ask you that question. I can't believe somebody hasn't hit you up with it.
Yeah. No, that's a fucking good one, bro. I haven't been asked that. So
that's why I'm the fucking best, bro, at this shit, you know?
You're the best. I mean, no, hands down.
And I always come back to when you go, one love, nah, bro, just one love, that's all, no more loves. You love yourself. And I'm like, fucking A, boy. I do. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Straight up. No, because fucking a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people do, bro. Fucking there's people that have been in this chat the whole time. I mean, I know exactly what they see in you, bro. This has been a fucking great conversation. You're the fucking man, bro. You should love yourself, because a lot of people do.
Next one, bro. What's the hardest you've bombed, G?
Fuck, bro. So people don't realize that, like, stand-up comedians, even at the point I'm at, we bomb all the time. Like, fuck, I think I bombed before I went on tour. Like, it's like bombing is so a part of like stand-up and your sort of stand-up life or career that it's just not even really a thing. But in saying that, the hardest I've ever bombed was so it's pretty buzzy because it's full circle. So it was my fourth or fifth ever gig, bro, and I had about 3 minutes of material. But they used to run this gig in Sky City that was 15. It was you could only do 15 minutes. So I had 3 minutes of material. You had to do 15 minutes. And I was like 4 or 5 gigs in, and I went and did Sky City Casino. Now I'm doing Sky City Theatre, but they had a stage in the casino. I swear to God, next to the like all the pokies and shit, and like people just sort of come and go. So the casino is obviously packed, but in regards to the people sitting right in front of you at the stage, it's like 2 people, and that's the hardest I've ever bombed, was in front of 2 people in a full casino where you can hear like pokies and shit, and fucking Chinese dudes like scrapping each other. It was 15 minutes of that. I had 3 minutes of material, and yeah, that was the fucking that was the hardest I've bombed, and I loved it.
Yo. Next one, bro. No names. How many cunts on 7 days do you reckon you're funnier than?
Probably all of them.
Someone,
all
love, bro. All love. One love, G.
No, in all honesty, I've gigged with most of the boys. So I've like Hurley. I've opened for Hurley. I've opened for Paul Ego, Corbett. The funny thing with those guys is they're actually unreal stand-up comedians. But on TV, there's obviously so much, there's editing, and then there's shit that they can and can't say. So it gets just watered down and vanilla. The 7 days guys, I can honestly say, they deserve to be in the position they are, because they really are fucking as funny as the hype entails. But just, on TV, it gets watered down a lot. But those dudes truly are funny, those guys. But I consider them in the top tier. There's a lot of people under them that are, on TV who I believe I'm better than, and know I'm better than. So, yeah.
There's nothing bad about that, Like, it's a rap thing, because right?
Yeah.
It's all about, like, having confidence in yourself, right?
For sure. But it's exactly that thing, bro, is that I do have a lot of respect for those guys, and they are funny and deserve to be where they are. But, yeah, I do think I'm funnier, so.
There we go. Bro, what was the cartoon growing up, bro? What was your cartoon?
Bro, I had a couple, but it was always what I found as I got older was mainly ones like around family. So Proud Family for sure. You got to crack up at this. If anybody remembers As Told by Ginger,
fuck no.
That was on Nickelodeon. As Told by Ginger,
I do remember that, G.
Yeah. On the other side, that shit, bro. That was my fucking shit. And Recess. So Recess, Proud Family, As Told by Ginger. I like shit that was kind of centered around families and, like society shit. I really like stuff around that, bro. So Recess, Proud Family, As Told by Ginger. I was watching that the most.
What was your what's your go-to Disney princess, G?
Fuck, go-to Disney princess. Who did I used to love watching? Is it like whose movie did I like the most, or who, like, if I was Prince Charming, would I like slip a tongue up the ass? I think Disney princess. Is Princess Fiona Disney?
Princess Fiona? No, that's DreamWorks.
No, she's not. That's DreamWorks.
What the fuck?
What? I like big ears.
Is this grand like a fucking Harley?
Just means they listen to your problems. Nah.
There's a handlebars, G.
Yeah. But just fucking call me in the headhunt or something. Just fucking West Auckland, just like Fiona. The biggest, probably my favorite. It's slipping. Probably, honestly, I might have to go Pocahontas, bro.
Yeah,
genuinely.
Because
Oh, who did you think I was going to say?
Nala, G.
Nala, fuck. Oh, I lied. It wasn't Pocahontas, bro. It was Lilo's sister.
Oh shit!
Everyone remember Lilo's sister?
Fuck, she was pretty fly, eh?
Right, she was.
She was always stressing too, G. Like, I felt for her.
She was. Yeah, I was like, hey, what's David really doing for you? What's he really doing for you? Because Jodie, I'll just slide right in, and I can give you a stitch. I can give you a sore stomach on some movement.
Give you the old puku rub from the inside.
I can give you the old Fijian roller coaster ride. Shout out Lilo Stitcher. That's me, sister. That's me.
Shout out. Oh fuck, bro. Hey, all right, bro. I gotta ask you this predator question, G, because if I don't ask you this, everyone's gonna get fucking upset. All right, the predator, bro, comes down as the female predator, and she goes, telepathic. She's talking to you through the waves of fuck whatever, and they're like, hey Joey, I need you to fucking impregnate me with your seed. All right, put your fucking 12-inch in one of these dreads, and then she pulls the dreads out. It's got fucking teeth on it, brother. Are you keen? It's to save the planet.
To save the planet?
It's to save her planet. She got no one. She wants little baby predator Joey D's hanging around.
But I have to stick it in the teeth.
Yeah, but she'll be gentle. But that's where you need to impregnate.
Well, I'll just go out to the bartender and say 2 Red Bull vodkas, 1 for me, 1 for her, and fucking let's get it.
Oh, shit, brother. Oh, bro, that's it, brother. Thank you so much for your time, my G.
No, thank you, bro. I'm fucking. I'm massively appreciative to you, bro. You've been supporting me for a long time, man. And as I said before, like I hold everybody that's done that very, very near and dear to my heart, man. And you're no different. And I mean, it obviously means even more that you brought me on here. So. I appreciate you big time, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. If you hang around for a little bit, bro, after the show, I'll tell you where I got all my info from, eh? I'm just gonna wrap it up, bro, and we're gonna go and raid someone, and I'll come back, bro, and I'll let you know. All right, bro. Won't be too long, brother. Thank you, eh?